Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make dog toys out of old clothes. So we're going to go ahead and go over everything you're going to need. It's really easy, no gluing, no sewing, super simple. Anyone can do this and you can make it into other fun shapes. It doesn't just have to be a rope, though that's kind of what I go with because it's just easy, like whatever. Plus, the great thing about this project is it doesn't matter how it looks because your dog doesn't care. They're going to shred it anyways. Before we get started though, I do want to throw out that I don't recommend using jeans or towels. They work. You can definitely use them. I've done it. But then I turn around and regret it because it's a material that kind of sheds a lot. So I ended up with little fuzzy bits of towels or little strings from blue jeans like all over my house. Woo! Hit myself in the face with my strings. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend those materials unless you have like maybe an outside dog and this is going to be like an outside toy and you don't really care and it's not going to like shed all over your house. Then maybe it wouldn't be a problem for you. For me, it was a mess. So inside toys, I don't recommend them for that. But let's go ahead and get into it and I'll show you everything that you need to get started. So for today we have a pair of socks. One of them has a hole in it, which pretty much renders both of them useless. And then we have our old t-shirt that has holes in it and a stain. So these are going to make perfect dog toys. And then we also have a pair of fabric scissors. Now if you don't have fabric scissors, you can use a sharp pair of kitchen scissors. Those will work just fine for you. But if this is something you're going to do a lot of, you might want to invest in fabric scissors because the fabric will eventually start to dull your scissors. So if they're for like, kitchens or whatnot, you might want to invest in these. But if you're only going to make, these on occasion, a good pair of kitchen scissors will do you just fine. You can wash them afterwards. It won't be an issue. So we get started here with the socks. Now, all these toys kind of have the same basic premise. What I like to look for is the seam. I feel like this kind of helps make the toy last a little bit longer, makes it a little more durable. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our scissors and we are going to, from here, cut all the way up to the seam, but we're not going to cut through the seam. See, just right up there, real close to it, not into it. And then we're going to flip this over and do the same thing on the other side. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, like your dog's going to be shredding it. So that's kind of what we're left with there, is a long piece of sock. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other sock, and we'll start on the next part of the project. Okay, so we have our two pieces of sock, and for this next part, those of you who don't like feet might be a little bit grossed out, but this is how I do it. You can do it however you want, but this is seriously, in my opinion, like the easiest way to do it. Okay, so we're gonna sit cross-legged somewhere, get our foot ready. I painted my nails for you guys. Got my pile of Goodwill stuff over here. So we're gonna take these, and you're gonna find where your seam is, just where you might meet up on your seam right there. Same thing on both socks, just kind of, it'll be the center of your sock scrap. And you're just going to place them right here like so, and then we're going to fold this piece up, give it a good tug, and we're going to stick it between our toes, and our toes are going to hold on to it. And this is just personally the easiest way I found to do it. So I'll do this while sitting on the couch or something, watching TV. And then we're just going to start making knots all the way down, pull them tight, and that's all we do, literally just knotting it all the way up. You can see that it starts to take shape and it's making a bit of a rope. Then we're going to flip it over, and as you can see, we have our other sock here still not really incorporated. So we're going to take the part we just did, put it back between our toes to hold it, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. And we have a dog rope. For this particular rope, I'm going to be using the seam that is up here at the very top. So again, kind of the same deal. We don't want to cut through that particular seam. That's going to be the one we're going to be keeping intact. My son's awake. I'm sure you can hear him making little baby sounds. So we're just going to cut this straight up. You don't have to cut through both sides of the shirt. For right now, let's just cut through the back part. So as you see, I did go ahead and cut all the way through here. I got to thinking about it, and we're going to get several different toys out of this particular garment. So I need to show you how we do that. So you do just want to go ahead and cut it all the way through so that it's opened up. And then we're going to come over here, space it out a little ways. I'd say give it a good 4 to 6 inch gapping. And we're going to cut it all the way through again so that we have a strip of fabric. So you can continue doing this all the way around your shirt until you have all the fabric strips. But this is something that we're left with. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's got a big old spot right there, and it gets skinnier down here towards the end. Doesn't have to be perfect. But at this point, you can decide which seam you want to keep intact to just kind of give it a little more structure. You can either have that seam up there, or you have this seam down here. I'm going to keep that one up there intact, and we're going to start down here, and we're just going to cut it straight up to here. And this time, we're not going to go through, I promise. Okay, so now we have a similar strip of fabric to what we had with the socks. Now, if you wanted to make another strip just like this and match it up like you did with the socks, and you have like an extra giant rope, you can totally do that. That's great for bigger dogs. Again, my dog's only 7 pounds, so she doesn't need to have like a massively long rope. She just needs to have an excess amount of ropes. So we're going to bring it back down to my feet, and I'll show you guys how to make this one into a rope. Okay, we got my foot back in play. So we're going to take this giant strip of fabric we have, and right here where the seam meets, we're going to go ahead and tie a knot and take it all the way down just to give it a good starting point. And we're going to take that knot and hold on to it with our feet, and then it's the exact same thing as with the socks. We're just going to start knotting the whole thing. Now we have another dog rope, and you can see they're stretchy, pretty durable. These last my dog a couple of months at a time. Some other things you can do with them is if you want to do kind of like a rounded shape, you can see we have these extra ends here. We can just come up here and poke a little bit more of a hole at the top, just kind of stick your finger in there, and then feed that end through the top, and then create another knot. And now you have a rope hoop thing. These are kind of nice for doing tug of war and stuff like that. Gives you a handle to hold on to. For this last one here, I'm going to show you how to make a dog ball. Just same kind of rope thing. This honestly works better with a bit of a longer rope. I should have made a bigger one. So I just kind of stretched it out a bit to try to make it as long as possible. But it's super easy. You just start knotting it. Now, this isn't going to be a pretty ball, but your dog can still play fetch with it. They can still chew on it. Your dog isn't going to care. And of course, if you want to have like a rope with knots through it, you can just, tie knots through it wherever you want to. It's really easy. It doesn't have to be anything aesthetically pleasing or perfect, it'll work. So just keep tying it, and eventually you'll get something that kind of looks a little bit like a ball. Again, works better with longer rope, but my dog's small, so she doesn't really need big ones. And there you have it. If these little guys right here bother you, or you're afraid your dog's gonna like swallow it, you can just chop them off. Just that easy. And then your dog has a ball they can fetch. And here's the 3 different toys we made. They're all technically like ropes. So we have just regular standard rope. We have like a hoop. Again, you can cut these pieces off if they bother you. And then we have a ball. Again, works better with a larger rope. So that's how you can make dog toys out of old clothes. Super simple, super easy. It doesn't take a lot of time. All you need is a good pair of scissors and some old clothes. And again, you can make like 3 different shapes. There's probably more out there. If you're more creative than me, you can come up with more of them. If you come up with more of them, feel free to share them down below. My son's in there babbling. I hope somebody finds this helpful. Again, I was spending like $10+ a month in dog toys. She was going through them so quickly we could hardly keep up. And this has just been a lifesaver. I feel like each toy lasts her anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. A nice thing about this is that unlike your traditional rope, it obviously doesn't have like a million threads going through it, which is a problem we were having, is she would chew a knot through, and then it would just unravel and we would have strings everywhere. But as you can see with like this one here, as she chews on it, just like little hunks of it break off. So you end up with these every now and then. I just pick them up and throw them away. Normally you'll end up with like a knot of them being chewed off, like this one right here will probably break loose next, and then I would just pitch it. So I feel like it's a cleaner rope. You don't end up with stuff everywhere, and as she chews knots of it off, it doesn't unravel like other ropes do, so it stays together. So a little bit cleaner, a little more durable, harder to chew apart, at least for my dog. So yeah, I hope this helps somebody. I hope you make some of these. Let me know down in the comments down below if you go make some of these. Again, super easy, practically free. I mean, you're using clothes you're gonna throw away anyways, so free. And it's gonna save you money every month, especially if your dog's like mine. Save you $10 a month. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.